Hey guys, well I decided to make a little trip down to the Baytown City Hall, not just any trip. Okay, I make trips almost every day to the City Hall, but nothing like this. I decided to sit down with Mr. Kevin Troller. He is the Assistant City Manager. He gave his thoughts about former President Bush that just recently passed away, and also Mr. Troller gave a little bit of history about himself. So, without making y'all wait any longer, please allow me to welcome to News Now Baytown, Mr. Kevin Troller.
Thanks, Michael. I appreciate you coming out today and for us to have the opportunity that we can share today. I will tell you and tell others that might see this that George Herbert Walker Bush is a once-in-a-lifetime president, man, icon, in my opinion. You know, when you first asked me about the passing of President Bush, I would tell you the first thing that came to my mind is he's just a national treasure. I think of George Herbert Walker Bush, I think national treasure, I think American statesman. I think of a veteran, and his career and my career are similar to some degree, so I always will have a kinship with him as a veteran. And the last piece that I would talk about is really, in my opinion, President Bush is the last president that really has a presidential pedigree, and I'll talk about that a little bit at the end. So, having gone to Texas A&M University, I graduated and I spent 26 years in the Army. I'm very proud of my career in the Army. I'm very proud that most of my military service was with three presidents: Ronald Reagan, George Bush, and George W. Bush. So I have very much an affinity for those three presidents in terms of their leadership in the same time that I was serving. President George Herbert Walker Bush also had a 26-year political career, very similar to my military career. And the reason I've got this sheet here is I just want to walk through the pedigree of this particular president. So he starts as a House of Representative in Texas, 1967 to 71. So I'm going to walk through his history from 67 to 93, his 26 years. House of Representatives. Then he becomes United States Ambassador to the United Nations. Then the 49th Chairman of the Republican National Convention. Then the second Chief to the U.S. Liaison, People's Republic of China. Then the 14th or the 11th Director of the Central Intelligence Agency. After that, he's a professor at Rice. So it looks like his political career might be over, and he starts to transition to Rice. When he makes a run for the presidency, he's defeated by Ronald Reagan, and he becomes the 43rd Vice President of the United States in 1981 for 8 years to 1989, and then the 41st President of the United States. So when you look at his entire political career, from the House of Representatives through all the things in between, to a professor, to the Vice President, to the President, I dare say there's not going to be another president that we have that is groomed politically to do what he did. Certainly the president we have right now, who has strengths, he's not groomed to be a politician. And other presidents weren't groomed to be politicians. But President George Herbert Walker Bush, his pedigree is incredible. What's the hardest thing a president would ever have to do? Would have to send our sons and daughters into conflict, armed conflict. Hardest thing any president will ever tell you they have to do is to commit military forces. George Herbert Walker Bush, as president, having served in the Navy, he has a kinship. He knows what it's like to be on the battlefield, on the seas. He knows personally what that means to himself, to his family, the rigors of what it takes to be trained and to do that kind of work, and the toll that that takes on families. More than any other president, I believe, he understood that as a service member. And we don't have very many politicians, all the way through president today, that have served in the armed forces. So I have the utmost respect for President Bush. We've lost an American treasure. We've lost an icon. And I'm just so thankful that in my time in the military, that I had the benefit of serving a leader like President Herbert Walker Bush.
You were in a war during that time. Can you talk about that?
I was. I served in the Gulf War, 1990, 1991 in Saudi Arabia. So I was stationed in Fort Hood, Texas, and I was deployed out of Texas in August of 1990 as one of the initial entry soldiers from the United States. And we located in Dammam, Saudi Arabia. After about a month or two, I was moved north with 24 people that I took from Fort Hood, Texas. They wanted a northern element so that when the fighting stopped, we could move into Kuwait and we could set up operations in what became Camp Freedom. Very quick war, the air war in January for about a month, the ground war, 100 hours in February, and then this long ordeal after that, because to Americans watching on TV, the war ended the end of February, go home. Actually, we do a lot of nation building. We set up in Kuwait. We brought Kuwaiti Americans back over there to see whether their families had survived throughout the war. We helped stabilize the country, and I was part of a logistics effort to get the Kuwait back on its feet. And then I came home in April of 1991.
Okay. And what branch were you?
I was Army.
Army. All right. What made you...
Go Army, beat Navy.
Yeah, Army. That game's coming up. I can't wait. Anyways, what made you decide to join the military? What's your history or background on that?
That's a great question. So my father was also like President Bush. He enlisted in the Navy for World War II. He and his two brothers felt it was their duty and responsibility to serve. All three of them were in the Navy. My father served in the Alaskan waters during the war in World War II. He got out after his initial enlistment in the war. He was never associated with the military again. He never spoke about his time in the military. I was not raised around the military. It was a happenstance move that my family, we're from Chicago, Illinois. We moved from Chicago to Arkansas to Texas. I was in Texas, McAllen, Texas, as a senior in high school, needing to find a college to relocate to. I had a friend that I was playing baseball with that was going to Texas A&M. He asked if I would go and be his roommate. So I landed on the grounds of Texas A&M in the fall of 1979, expecting to just be a student, a co-ed at Texas A&M. When a Corps senior walked up in his uniform and told me I would never understand the school if I didn't join the Corps, I wasn't sure what that meant. It meant something military. But I signed up and joined the Corps of Cadets at Texas A&M, and honestly, that's where I found myself. I found the military discipline, regimentation, everything that we did at Texas A&M was surrounded with honor, integrity, loyalty, teamwork. And I was driven by it, and I applied for an Army scholarship. I got it, and with that, I owed the Army 8 years. So I came in knowing I would serve at least 8 years in the Army.
And then you retired, right?
I retired in 2005. I progressed through the Army. I commanded at every level through Brigade Command, which was in Germany. Battalion Command was at Fort Hood. My final tour was as the strategic commander of deploying finance forces throughout the world out of the Pentagon, and I retired out of the Pentagon in 2005. So my military career, also 26 years, was 1979 to 2005, retiring from the Pentagon.
We could tell during the mayor's swearing-in ceremony that you still have the heart for the military. You were saluting up there on the platform. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I will do a lot of other things in my life, but I will consider myself to always be a soldier. It's kind of like Marines have such a passion for being a Marine. There's no such thing as an ex-Marine. You're always a Marine. I consider myself the exact same way as a soldier. I'm probably a better recruiting poster now for the services than when I was in. I love the 26 years that I spent in the military. I loved what it taught me in terms of leadership and management and discipline. It's the same things I try to bring to the city. It's what I try and instill in others: honesty, integrity, loyalty. And so all of that is still very meaningful to me. I'm very passionate about it. The flag has meaning to me. The idea that we as a country get to do things that most other countries don't in terms of serving on a jury and electing our leaders. That's important. So I constantly hope, strive, encourage people to vote, let your voice be heard. And so we're in a ceremony like last night with the new mayor, and seeing the flag and posting of the flag. All that is very meaningful to me. And the electing of our leaders is very meaningful to me.
I think I saw a little bit of tear coming out of your eye.
It's possible.
Anyways, the recruiting part. Can you tell those who wants to join the military a little bit of good news and make them believe, hey, going to the military is cool? Can you do that?
I think the military is a great option for anyone and everyone. I will tell you that all of us in this life, and this is a relational life, it's not about, a title, it's about serving. This life is about relating to other people and serving, and not everybody. I know when I was growing up, the thought was when you graduated high school that you were going to go to college. And so college isn't for everybody. And I think the military is an excellent opportunity for everybody, because people come in the military initially for a lot of different reasons. It could be patriotism, it could be valor, it could be to support your country. It could be to get an education. It could be to travel and see the world. There are a lot of things that attract people to the military. And so I think it's something that as people come up through high school and they look at their options, where do I want to be? It's something that I can honestly tell people that this is something that they should consider. Go see the world. Go find out who you are. Go be part of a team that has a mission that is much bigger, much broader than any of us ever think about. And that's what's significant to me. I want to be part of something that is much bigger than me. And I got to do that in the military, and some of the deployments and the training that we did. The people I served with, the countries I served with, the people I supported were efforts much bigger than me. That's why I also like working for the city, because what we do for the city and the citizens of Baytown, it's much bigger than me. It's what we can do to make the city better.
We're going to make this city great again.
We are. It's a great city.
Thank you, sir, for your time.
Thanks, Michael. I appreciate you being here.
Well, thank you for watching the interview. Well, Mr. Trotter, thank you for allowing me to interview you. We had a blast, but I can see that you really have a true love for this country. So, thank you again for allowing me to sit down with you. And y'all, thank you for watching this video. Until next time, God bless you, and may God bless the United States of America. Hey, this is Mike Palmer. Thank you for watching this video. Hey, remember, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and if you want to be notified, hit that bell. And always go to our Facebook page or Twitter or our Instagram and see what's going on. Again, thank you for watching News Now Baytown. See you on the next video.